Well, the house is under construction again. That window has been the source of many complaints from my wife. The summer sun comes through there, winter sun also, and catches a certain time of day and chases you out of there. So right now I've got a screen hanging up there on it and some bricks on the roof to hold it in place. It's been that way for about a year. We used to put the paper shades up there and all that, and they always look bad. So yesterday I had someone come out and quote me the price for shutters. Well, it was about $3,000 for that one window. So I have extra shutters laying around. Guess what I'm doing? Yep. Wish me luck. So, arch is all laid out. Glue that all together. Doubling that up to give it some strength. And then that inside radius is what I've got to cut all these shutters to. Some of the shutters will still work. Some won't. But next task. Glue this all up, nail it together, let it sit. All glued up and nailed up. And we'll start working on cutting up these shutters. So I've got the frame set aside to dry, and I'm going to go ahead and cut these. As soon as I cut through this, I got it marked out here. As soon as I cut through that, these are going to just turn into junk laying all over the place. Pieces everywhere. I've got to keep track of. Frames drying. I put a carbide blade in because these frames a lot of times have aluminum inside there, aluminum channel. So put an old carbide blade in there so I can cut through that stuff. So there's the rough cut. And what I'm thinking is these side panels. Well, first of all, I know she's going to want to get up behind this thing, clean it, and I'm not going to. There's no sense in hinging it because the beam's in the way. You're never going to be able to do that. So they're going to have to lift up and pull out. So I'm thinking of doing this in at least 2 panels. I might even do it in 4. Make this one panel, another, just cut this arch up to where they're individual panels. And that might be the easiest way to pull them out and clean them and all that stuff. But anyway, this is not going to be an operational panel. That makes no sense trying to make that operational. And the same with the other side. But this, I can make operational up to about here. This will probably be the last operational one. And this is up behind the beams up there anyway, so it really doesn't matter. So it's dark and I'm working under the lights trying to get this thing done. I'm drilling those all out so that these little shutters could actually work. I'd have to trim each one so that they don't bang into the frame, but maybe someday in the future I'll make it work. But yeah, I drilled every one of those also and put these little inserts in there. Tons of these little inserts that go in there. Now, the trick is to piece that all together. Gotta put every one of those into those holes I just drilled. And then clamp it and screw it together, glue it and screw it. Well, there is one. I've got 3 more to do. The sides are the toughest, so anyway, a little fine tuning and some paint, that's ready to go. They're all glued up, puttied up, ready for some fine sanding and then some paint. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I built a frame in here too. And that way it just looks a little better. It's kind of trimmed out. And that squiggly piece there is just some trim laying there. I've got to put a stop in all the way around that, inside that frame, so that these panels will rest against it. Well, I moved it inside the garage, so so I can get it painted, because it's getting in the way of work. So I'm doing this stuff after hours. Just about there though. I've got the kilts on it, and get a good coat of paint on it tomorrow, and it'll be ready to go in. All right, so I've got these painted. There's one side painted, waiting for those to dry. I'll paint the other side and then probably do a second coat, and they're ready to go. And I'm prepping the inside of the house to receive them. But I wanted to give you this warning. I bought this Gorilla Super Glue, and it's a gel. And this stuff works really good, amazingly good. And because it's a gel, it doesn't come right down real quick. You got to kind of shake it down. Well, I thought it was a liquid, and so when it didn't come right down, I started shaking it real hard and then squeezed it real hard, and I made a giant mess. So I grabbed a rag, cleaned it up, and went to clean it off my hands, and the rag stuck to both hands. It stuck solid. It stuck. There was no getting it off. I was like handcuffed. I could not get it off my skin. I was going to rip the skin off my hands if I pulled on it too hard. And so I had to find a razor knife, and with my hands cuffed to this stuff, slowly cut the rag off my hands. I finally got one hand free, was able to cut the other one off, and then the glue stuck on there and the piece of the rag stuck on there so tight. I had to actually turn the sander on and sand it off my fingers very carefully, of course, very carefully. Yeah. So just a warning. This Gorilla Super Glue, that's pretty darn good stuff. Well, there it is, installed. What do you think? I think it solves the problem. Those middle shutters, they work. I've got them partially open, so there's a little light coming through there. I love it. One last thing to do. Play with the train. Hey Cindy, your Christmas presents here. Santa's elves.